So this journal entry is June 29, 2006. I called it Change, Blue Like Jazz. For some reason at this time, I have a passion about teenagers that are dealing with homosexuality.
Our LGBTQ siblings don't need us to do something wonderful. They just need us to stop doing something awful.
Bad theology hurts people, right? I think for a lot of people, we have proper theology that comes out of our gut, but then we shut it down with this doctrine that we've been taught.
When Jeff approached me about starting a series that talked about the LGBTQ plus community, how the church should be welcoming and affirming and loving and accepting, I think my first thought was like, we're not. And then I realized we're in Bryson City.
Bryson City is a small, rural mountain town. It's a very conservative community.
I believe like in our county we have like 43 Southern Baptist churches. So, and we're a very small town. So if you think of the numbers and how many churches are represented in the Southern Baptist Association, that sheer difference was kind of putting us at odds.
I come across this documentary HBO is doing about gay and lesbian teenagers in a safe place that was created for them in New York City. And I couldn't turn away from it was about gay and lesbian teenagers in a safe place that was created for them in the streets of New York City. And as I watched it, I heard these stories from these teenagers tell that how they longed for a place to go and just be themselves. Let me make some upfront disclaimers this morning. There are a lot of new faces here, many faces that I remember prior to COVID-19 that are back. If you got my email or a text message or you saw one of our posts on Facebook and you came, I want to say thank you for coming. If you're here and you identify as part of the LGBTQ community, I want to say thank you for coming. I'm going to get through this, I know it. I want to say thank you for giving the church one more chance. I apologize that the church has weaponized their teachings over the years, and they have not been true to loving others like they claim to be. And there's nothing that I can say over the next 30 minutes that's going to take that away, or it's going to make it right, or erase the scars that the church has written on the arms together of the LGBT community for decades.
How many times has the church been wrong through history and not moved fast enough and ended up finally saying, okay guys, we got it wrong? And so for me, it's like, maybe the first time in my life, I'm on the front end of something that's right, that's good, and maybe it's gonna be uncomfortable for a while, and maybe my family tribe is not gonna get it, maybe initially, but eventually I think they are. And I do have now friends coming up to me saying, man, you just had courage that we didn't see, as you were willing to do that before the rest of us.
I think the people that would know us would know that we've been really processing this for a long time. This is not a quick decision, and it's not one that we take lightly.
Why does it seem that the only thing that church find unacceptable is homosexuality? Most churches I've seen will let anyone in the doors that can hide their sins to the public. We will let people work out their sins and share community with us. They can greet at the door, serve coffee, collect tithes. But the homosexual must change first. He must become like us before he can belong with us. But why can't he belong first? Jesus made a difference because he sat and ate with prostitutes and tax collectors. He established community first. All right, this is where I found my journal down there covered in dust. And so I guess there was part of me that the reason I hid that was because, like, what if someone found it? There was a fear, I guess, in the early years of being here that if someone found my journal and they read my thoughts that weren't fully developed yet, that because we lacked relationship, that they wouldn't understand, and they would quickly move us out because we didn't have any depth. And so I hid my journal, not under a lock and key, but maybe where someone wouldn't find it.
This is the time to stand up. And so I look at all the people who are being marginalized, and I just say, if we're so afraid to, especially those of us who are Christian in the religious majority and white in the racial majority, if we in the majority aren't willing to stand up for people who are being threatened and excluded now, well, we don't deserve anybody to stand up for us.
Lights off.